What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So today, season preview, we're going over to the Indianapolis Colts. Basically means we're going to take a look at the roster, we're going to take a look at the schedule, and I'm going to give you my projected starters as well as my predictions for the team. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Plenty of videos on the channel, so go ahead, indulge. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into this sucker, and let's start by looking at the roster. And I mean, first comment, offensive line is fabulous. I think we all know this is probably one of the best offensive lines in football. There's really no weak spot there. Weakest spot being right guard with Mark Glowinski, who even in his own right is a worst case scenario, he's average. I mean, he allowed 42 pressures last season, committed 10 penalties, being the big thing, only allowing 3 sacks. So while he is the weakest part of that line, that's actually speaks volumes for the rest of the offensive line. Quentin Nelson, probably one of the best guards in the business. Ryan Kelly, solid in his own right. And then Braden Smith as well as Anthony Costanzo. It's a great offensive line. I also like the addition of Danny Pittner out of Ball State. I think he's going to be kind of like a swing tackle, very athletic guard. Probably eventually take over for Mark Glowinski there. So taking a look at the weapons that because we know about Phillip Rivers. We know last year wasn't a great year. The guy's been working behind a terrible offensive line basically his whole career for the most part. So I think with you bringing in him, you get in a guy that's going to take more downfield shots. Because I know, okay, T.Y. Hilton, he had a few injuries last year, but he played a majority of the season. And he was only targeted downfield 6 times, I believe. Let me actually look this up real quick. Got it right here. Because I think they will be much better at the wide receiver position. But he was only 11 times. He was 3 of 11 on 20 yards or more passes actually taken downfield. That's a shame. That's going to change with Phillip Rivers here. And then I love the addition of Michael Pittman. While coming into the draft, he was one of my favorite prospects. While he doesn't separate like a lot of the guys in this draft, if you can't separate well, then you better be among the best at the contested catch. He was the best when it came to contested catches. The guy, he makes catches in traffic. He goes up. He brings the ball down on the long balls. I think he is a perfect number 2, more so than Zach Pascal. Zach Pascal feels more like a possession receiver. So I like that as a 1 and a 2. And then I definitely feel like Paris Campbell, he's definitely going to get the opportunity, as long as he can stay healthy, to be the starting slot there. So they got weapons. I also like the kid out of Washington State, Desmond Patman. I don't know. He probably won't see too much time this year. So, yeah, I mean, you saw Marcus Johnson. He had his moments last year. So, overall, weapons look good. Jack Doyle's back, Mr. Reliable. Mr. Phillip Rivers likes his tight ends. So taking a look at tight end, because they will bring in Trey Burton, who didn't really do well last year, but he's coming in now. He's being asked just to be a number 2. I think he'll excel at that, so I'm really happy about that. I like the addition of Jonathan Taylor. It brings a little something different compared to Marlon Mack. While by no means will Jonathan Taylor, I think, be an asset or a factor, at least, in the passing game, you can't deny his just raw ability as a ball carrier. The guy is a north-south runner. He makes a single cut and then he's gone. It's hard to bring him down. You can bring up his fumbling concerns. For as many times as he carried the ball, it's actually those fumbling concerns aren't that much. People will be like, oh, he had this many fumbles. Yeah, but when you look at how many touches he had, the rate isn't all that different compared to most running backs. So I'm not too worried about that. My biggest worry is how little he did in the passing game. Granted, Wisconsin, not the best place to be a passer. They're a very heavy run team. But you could be like, oh, but he was producing in the passing game last year, but he was running very simple routes. These little, he was either on the flats, it was a screen. they were just it were very simple that any running back should be able to run what he ran at Wisconsin. If you could expand on that, bam, yeah, Marlon Mack, bye. So I think we're gonna see a healthy dose of both him and Marlon Mack with a little sprinkle of Naheem Hines. And then, I mean, I like the idea that they brought in I assume this is why they brought in Jacob Eason, this potential successor to Phillip Rivers, because my biggest gripe, because this guy, all the arm talent in the world, crappy under pressure, terrible, like is a totally different quarterback under pressure. And he was playing behind one of the best offensive lines last year in football. So that makes me a little nervous because the pockets, they're a little more tighter in the NFL. How will we deal with that? I like that he's going to have to sit behind somebody for a year. I think he has a ton of potential. Overall, the offense, I'm excited about the offense, especially, I mean, you're in a division where Houston, they're okay defensively. Okay. They were one of the worst, they were among the bottom of the league when it was against the pass. Then you got Jacksonville, who's basically feels like they're in total rebuild. And then I'll give it to Tennessee. That's a tough matchup. But I think this Colts team offensively, they'll be a force. And defensively, I think that goes as double. This is a very good Colts team. I love the addition of Phillip Rivers. If people could stay healthy, this is a team to really watch out for. Like Teray, last season was amazing. He only played 4 games, but he had 14 pressures on 81 snaps. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous pass rush win rate. Like, this guy, if he could get a full, like, just a fully healthy year, I can't wait to see what he can really do, because I felt like he was coming into his own, and then the injury happened. Then, of course, you're bringing back Justin Houston, who I think in a limited role, because he only had a little under 700 snaps last season, is great. It's phenomenal. Solid. So I expect they're going to be probably one or more from Ben Banogu, and then you got Muhammad there as well, who in his own right, he was solid. He's nothing special against the pass, but he was solid run defender. So he's a good rotation guy. There they also brought in here they got Robert Windsor, the rookie out of Penn State, listed as a defensive tackle. I think he will, let alone nose tackle backup. I don't know why, because the guy, he's going to be playing 3 tech, or he will play on the edge. He can get into that rotation. He's got a lot of versatility there. Kendall Coleman out of Syracuse is a very good run defender. I don't know if he will be on the team or if he'll be practice squad. Regardless, it was a good addition. On the interior, they look great. They brought in exactly what they needed. They didn't have good pass rush on the interior. I love the DeForest Buckner trade. It was really a win-win for both teams. So he's coming in. He's going to give that team instant pass rush from the inside, as well as this is probably going to go very under the radar. And I hope Sheldon Day, he gets plenty of playing time. This cat was really good in San Fran last year in that rotation. Very underrated. I think as long as they use him in a rotation, he will be very successful. And then you got Autry there as well, he's not really amazing at anything, but he's very good at a lot. So I like that as well. So defensive line looks phenomenal. Let's go to linebacker core, because linebacker core pretty good in its own right. Bobby Okereke. Okereke. It's the best I'm going to get at it. My apologies. Bobby O. Let's go with Bobby O. One of the best coverage linebackers from the rookie class. The guy was phenomenal. Only played, I think, about 472 snaps last year. I fully expect him to become a 3-down linebacker there with Darius Leonard, who is one of the best linebackers currently in the NFL. Anthony Walker, don't sleep on him. He was pretty good in his own right. I think he'll probably be playing more so as a 2-down linebacker. When they go to sub packages, you're going to see Bobby O, you're going to see Darius Leonard. So I like what they got going on in the linebacker core. It looks very strong. Secondary, this is going to be interesting, because I think the secondary, they were all right last year. Like, they weren't like extraordinary. They were average. I think they're going to take that next step, while a lot of people are going to be sleeping on the Xavier Rhodes move. I think it's a good move. I know he's kind of in a bit of a decline right now, especially with how bad he played last season. But new look could be good for him. Playing probably on the other side will be Rocky Sin, best name in football, right after John Pinacini. He was really good as well, and he started at let's see real quick. He actually started on the right side, I think, after week 10. Let me just confirm that. I don't want to give y'all any false information. But week 13, excuse me. So once he made the move to the right side, he actually played particularly decent. He had a few games, but like he wasn't allowing a lot. Like probably his worst games since week 13 when he was exclusively on the right cornerback was he allowed 2 receptions for 41 yards on 5 targets. And then there was 3 targets for 3 receptions, 26 yards. And then he had one where he let a big play go for 45 in the season ender, the season closer against Jacksonville. But for the most part, he was pretty solid there. I expect him to take a big leap. I think that's the only reason we're seeing Xavier Rhodes. So to buy Rocky Sin more time to actually become maybe their number 1 corner. I fully expect Kenny Moore to be the starter there in the slot. He's actually one of the most, I think, disrespected slot corners in football. He's actually very good. He only allowed 347 yards last year in a position where a lot of guys are going underneath now. A lot of teams, that's where the checkdowns are, or those slot guys. So he actually he held it down pretty solidly. I know they brought in TJ Carey. TJ Carey is a slot guy. He's going to be a backup. A lot of people sleep on Marvell Tell, who played predominantly cornerback last year, but he does have the flexibility to play safety. And I thought he played particularly well given his limited snap total. I know a lot of people would be like, no, he was trash. Don't see where they get that from. I thought he was pretty good. He allowed only 290 yards. Granted, that was on only 190 coverage snaps, but he was targeted. He only allowed a completion percentage of 64%. So, and I mean, when you're asking a rookie to come and step in, I thought he did pretty solidly. So I like those guys. Also like them drafting, who was it? Isaiah Rodgers. I think he's intriguing, a late round pick. And then at safety, got Malik Hooker. I don't know for how much longer, probably this season, obviously, but he looked like he was kind of coming to his own. But I still think he's not a single high guy. I think he is kind of being misused. That's why they drafted Julian Blackmon, a guy that they could work with for a year and then probably bring him in as the starter. And then Kari Willis, very underrated, very, very good in his rookie season. I thought he played just as well as Hooker. So secondary, it looks fine. This defense looks very good. It looks like this team's going to be very competitive, as they should be. Let's go ahead and take a gander at the schedule. So looking at the schedule, they have to face on top of the AFC South, of course. They get to go to the AFC North, which that's pretty tough when you have to face the likes of Pittsburgh, Big Ben returning Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as the Ravens, who were just a monster of a team last year, had the best record in football, I believe. Hopefully I'm not misquoting that. I know they were up there. And then a Bengals team that's going to be much improved on top of a Browns team that's playing with a chip on their shoulder. They should be much better. They've made a lot of moves this season. And then they have to travel to the NFC North, which you could laugh at Minnesota, how looks like their secondary is depleted. You could laugh at the Packers drafting Jordan Love, getting no help for Aaron Rodgers. Those are still 2 very good teams, so they shouldn't be slept on. Detroit's still a very good, very underrated team. I don't want to say they're very good. I think they're more pretender than contender for the playoffs, but they're still a very well put together team. The Chicago Bears, we'll see. I mean, don't know really what we're gonna get out of them next year. If Nick Foles is the quarterback, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. And then their other games will be against. They have the Raiders, which at this point of the season, in week 14, is it Mariota? Is it Derek Carr? I think they got a better chance of winning if it's Mariota. And then you got the Jets, which they made a lot of moves, but did they make a lot of moves? I think the Jets will be okay. So it's not exactly an easy schedule, but they, like I said, this is a very good Colts team coming into this year. They were very competitive last year with Jacoby Brissett. They should be, well, at least at the beginning of the year, they should be much better with Phillip Rivers. I think they should be in contention for the playoffs. Easy. They should be in a fight with Tennessee, depending on if we will see the same Tannehill as we saw from last year. And you can't sleep on the Houston Texans either, because Sean Watson's pretty solid in his own right. So let's go ahead. Let me just give you my starters. So, of course, Phillip Rivers himself will be a starter. Jonathan Taylor, I think, will see more snaps when it's all said and done instead of Marlon Mack. Then I got T.Y. Hilliard. I got Michael Pittman Jr. kind of being what they thought or what they wanted to see from Devin Funchess. Paris Campbell, hopefully if he could stay healthy, will be the slot. Jack Doyle there. And then I got the same line as last year. I mean, because Costanzo, you got Nelson Kelly, you got Mark G and Braden Smith. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at who I have for the starters for the defensive line. Justin Houston, and I got Toure, but keep in mind there should be some sort of rotation there. Hopefully, if Ben Banogu is ready to go. And then same with the interior. I got Autry right now as the other starter next to Buckner, but I do expect to see a lot of Sheldon Day. And then at linebacker, Darius Leonard, Bobby O, and then Xavier Rhodes, Rocky Asim, Kenny Moore, and then Hooker and Willis. Rounding out the secondary. It looks really good. Let me go ahead and just give it to you straight. Let me tell you how I think they'll do. And I think I kind of lowballed it a little bit, because I do think the schedule is tough in some areas. But spoiler for my playoff predictors video at the end of that I'm going to do at the end of this, I got them being that last seed, getting in that 7th seed. Now that we have, I got them at 8-8. Again, I mean, it really depends if we're going to see the same Phillip Rivers as next year. I don't think so, but there might be some cases where that Phillip Rivers may pop up here and there. So 8-8, I think is pretty safe. Honestly, could be a 9-7, could be a 10-win team, but I guess we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and do the YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. But that's it for the video. There we go. I was trying to figure out what's my ending again. How do I normally end these videos? That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.